tribal leaders, distinguished elders, brothers and sisters. Up until 1985, I must confess to you that, like most Americans, I had very little interest in Native Americans. After all, where I come from, there are no tribes, no reservations. The only Indians I was aware of were Pocahontas, Sitting Bull, and Tonto. We laugh at that, but I believe that was commonplace in all America. One day in '85, I was called by the leader of the Senate to join the Indian Affairs Committee and serve as chairman. I said, that's crazy. I'm not Indian. I don't have any reservations in Hawaii. I know very little about Indians. And the leader looked at me and says, well, that may be true, but you look like one. So I took up the challenge. And then I was fortunate to have Dr. Patricia Zell, who was then on the staff. And I looked at her and I said, look, give me 3 books. I just want to read them over the next 2 weeks, acquaint myself with Indian country. And the 3 books she gave me were all on the same theme: Indian massacres, how they were wiped out. I had no idea that anthropologists suggest that before the coming of the white man, there were over 50 million in the United States. And of that number, there were 50 distinct languages. So communication was very limited. And Indians, as you know, don't look all alike. They're tall ones, they're short ones. They're big ones, they're small ones. I don't know where I fit in, but well, when I read about Indian wars, and they tell me that there were less than 250,000 remaining. You know, that's quite a massacre. But not only that, if you would go to the Smithsonian Museum, there are about 12,000 skulls and human remains in their custody. One of the first things I learned in 1986 when I became chairman was about this collection. So I suggested, why don't we build a mausoleum right in the center of the mall and place all the remains there? Because people have no idea where they came from. Battle of Little Big Horn, or Battle of this. And several Indian leaders came to see me and said, we appreciate your thoughts, but let's not put all the bones together, because my tribe would not want to be buried with members of that tribe. So we decided on the museum. That's how the museum got in. The bones were just unbelievable because the Surgeon General of the United States Army at that time was studying cranial capacity. And he wanted to measure cranial capacity to learn whether Indians were smart or stupid. And so he called upon the army, when you do come across skulls, send them over. Well, they dug up graves and everything else.
You know, I don't mind standing. I don't mind standing or something else.
That's how many
I don't mind standing or something
are
else.
found in this
It's
country.
okay to stand. Thank you.
Now there are about 12,000 because many of them have been returned to their tribes, but most of them have nowhere to go. I hope someday somebody who is wise will determine what we can do with the remains. But after speaking here, I must reiterate it to you. The time has come for Indian country to work together. I can understand the early days when Indians were struggling and poor, unorganized, when you were seeking survival itself. But now, you have gone past that stage. But there are problems that can be worked out if all of us get together, speak in one voice. Are you satisfied to know that in the Indian country, there are more suicides among the young teenagers than anywhere else in the United States? Are you satisfied that the longevity of Indian men and women are the lowest in the United States? Then let's do something about it. I can tell you that I am the first chairman of the Indian Affairs Committee because when they asked me to join the committee, some of you old-timers remember it was a select committee. If you know anything about the Congress, select committee means temporary. Those who founded our Congress had no intention to make that committee permanent. Select committee. And that's recent, 1986. That was the first thing I did. Made it a permanent committee. And now instead of 3 members, you have 12. But there are certain realities in life. Today, friends of yours are under the threat of being defeated this November. I hope you will look at the Dakotas. I hope you will look at Montana. These are part of Indian country. Good friends of yours are running for office. We shouldn't miss the opportunity. We should be there to help them because they're part of our team. Today I am